Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 17. Another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. Another hotel on the road edition. I'm in glorious sunny Atlanta, which is very exciting. First one is actually keeping on the American theme, NHL and Disney. Now this is what you're seeing is a live game going on. You would not know this, but a live game going on, which is being motion captured. So each one of the players on the ice is being body tracked, each one of their limbs, for instance, and obviously all of the data for when scores are happening. And that is being simulcast at the same time as the live match into this version, which is with Disney's Big City Greens, which is a cartoon, if you did not know about that. So it's bringing it to a younger audience. There is different commentary going on as well. So there are the people who are commenting, actually taking sort of character live calls, phone-ins and all that sort of stuff. So it's really interesting how they've made it relevant to a younger audience, ideally trying to make it relevant to an older audience of the future. So really interesting. Go and have a look at that. And if you're not thinking of one of these in the future, then you probably should be. This was going to creep up on us, and it has. So this is apparently, according to a new report, about 4% of corporate users have put proprietary or let's say secrets onto ChatGPT. So that could be anything from, how do I improve my sales figures to how do I refactor my code? And as you see, what I'm doing here is I'm taking the mickey a little bit and I'm trying to refactor the original MIT Flash embedding code just to see what it would do, and it's duly doing that for me. But it's an example of what somebody might do. Here's my code. How do you make it better? That code might be secret, might be proprietary. So lots of companies are now starting to lock this down. You see people like Samsung who are now limiting. They had unfettered access, then they closed it down, and they said, well, we do need to use it a bit. So they're saying you can't upload more than 1 kilobyte or 1024 bytes into this. So if you still have free access to your ChatGPT at work, you might want to watch what you're putting into that. And if you are the systems admin on this, you might want to think, or your legal department probably, you might want to think how much access you are giving as well. So that is becoming more of a thing. NPCs. So if you're into the gaming world, NPCs are non-playing characters, so they don't do anything. You can't play them, but they are there. They usually add some flavor and some sort of, some visual spice to the game, for instance. So what somebody's done here is they've actually used GPT 3.5, and then they've used voice to speech, GPT, and then text to voice to give these characters something to say. And also it is aware of where you're looking in virtual reality as well. So you can look around and it's also aware of what you're looking at. So what's actually happening here is you're going up to a random character, you're then talking to them, and it's then going, right, I better have something to say. It's then hearing what you're saying, turning it into a query, turning it back into something, into a conversation that you're now having in character. So all you've got to say is, as a bartender, and have a conversation, and away you go. So it's really interesting how you can then start scripting these previously unscripted characters for free, and within limits as well. So there you go. Interesting. This is NERFs. I'm a big fan of NERFs, which are neural, which is the NE, and basically radiance fields. So what that really means is you can take a lot of photos of a space. This is not a video, not originally a video, by the way. This is just a bunch of photos that have been reconstructed as a 3D space, which you can then fly through in these sort of interactive videos. So that's what neural radiance fields are. Really exciting. So for instance, if you've got a, say Google Street, for instance, if you can just take a load of photos everywhere it goes, you can then start flying through Google Street like this in the future. And this just shows you how much it's coming on. So the two big things in this one is, yes, you take all those photos, it does it 22 times, you can process them 22 times faster than the previous sort of top of the range edition. But also what it's doing is it's doing it so smoothly. Usually you see some like vertical jaggers or some artifacts. So it's anti-aliasing is what we're calling here. So this would be really interesting for, everything from scouting out sets to I guess buying a new home, but also just mapping the world around us in this sort of detail. So Zip-NERFs, have a check it out. Google Bard, which is the Google's version of their AI, have announced that they are going to be using it for generating ads, or remixing as it's been called. There's not a huge amount of detail on this right now. You're already sort of seeing this anyway, and it has been for many years. So if you're an advertiser and you have programmatic ads, then you can upload variations for different audiences and different title variations, the same ad, and it will just kind of reconstruct it with different words. So this is now taking it one step further. So what they're saying is you upload images, video, text, whatever you want to do, and depending on the audience, it will then remix your ad live depending on what it needs to have. So remix the video, remix the titles, all those sorts of things. So again, this is not a lot of detail behind this. Apparently it's going to be added to their Performance Max ad platform, which has this sort of stuff already. But we're going to be seeing more of this kind of targeting of ads and remix of ads, personalized ads just for you in generative AI world. Humane kind of had to feature this because it just got a load of kind of PR, I guess. This was and I have to use air quotes, leaked video, and it is actually a TED talk. It's just been leaked before time, but it just shows this device that you stick into, I assume your customized jacket for this to fit into, or clip it on, or whatever it is. But what it does is it is a short throw projector, and you can interact with it with your voice. So it is a personal assistant. It's kind of like Google Glass from 10 years ago now, or something like that, in that it does basic stuff, but it can can manage your diary and do phone calls and all those sorts of things. It's not tethered to a phone. It has its own kit in it. But I just thought I'd show you this. It is, well, we're seeing quite a lot of augmented reality glasses and brain implants and all sort of stuff. This is just kind of a bit of a throwback using a projector. Make of it what you will. Jury is out. And finally, after 25 years, Netflix is finally stopping DVD rentals. So sorry about that. If you do want it, apparently that it's still a really active thing. 2.15 million active users. Those are active users, and it made nearly $146 million last year. So it is a going concern, but it's just not big enough, and I guess worth the hassle. There you go. I've heard on the grapevine lots of other companies are trying to bid for this as well, want to take it over, but Netflix aren't actually saying they're going to sell it to anybody. They're just going to close it down. Interesting fun fact: the first ever DVD that was ever rented was Beetlejuice, and it was a couple of years old when it was rented. So there you go. But if you still have anything owing to Netflix for their DVD rentals, you might want to poke it in right now, because they're about to close down, I think, in October. So you got a while. There you go. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully the sound wasn't too bad. Hopefully give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a share, and I will speak to you next week.